Hey guys, it's Nemanja and welcome to another fun photo manipulation episode. Today I will show you how I created this really cool photo manipulation that I named Robot Love Story. So before we jump into Photoshop and show you how I actually did this, let me tell you how I got the idea for this photo manipulation. Remember that movie that came out, I think 2011, Real Steel, where Hugh Jackman is the main actor there and he's controlling the big robot and those robots are actually fighting instead of human fighting, etc, etc. If you didn't watch that, check out the movie, it's pretty cool. So I got inspiration from that movie to create a big robot that I will control with my remote control, but instead of fighting with someone, I will use it to give a beautiful lady flowers, as you can see in the photo. And also then I developed that idea even more. I expanded it, I added even more robots, smaller robots that are actually holding the Cupid bow and wants to hit that girl with the Cupid arrow and so on and so forth. You will see that later in the video, but this is how I got the idea for that. Right, now let's jump straight into Photoshop and let me show you how I actually did it. But one more thing. It took me more than 3 days to create this photo manipulation, and I know that there are a lot of you guys who are impatient, who just want to create something in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But if you want to create something really cool, it doesn't take just hours, it takes sometimes days like this. I created a robot completely from scratch in Cinema 4D, also the Cupid bow and those smaller guys, smaller robots. I created them actually last year, but I use it for this project too. And also for that, take some time, not just to create the robots, but to develop the idea, the design of the robots, how the robot will look at the end, etc. So you need to invest a little bit of the time. And also the Photoshop part took me a little bit of the time too, because I changed a few ideas on the go. And for example, I finished for today, I went to sleep, and tomorrow I got another idea, changed a few things, etc. So this is why some things you need to invest even more time. So if you want to improve yourself, to improve your skills and create even better photos, don't rush yourself. Don't be that guy to create that want to create a photo manipulation in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And I know that there are a lot of you guys that are totally impatient, because I know I read the comments and you're saying when I'm releasing the tutorial that lasts 30 minutes or hour, it's too long, I want short tutorials. But 10 minutes, guys, for the video, for the tutorial, actually, not for the speed art, but for the tutorial, 10 minutes, it's crazy amount of time. It's nothing to create something. So be patient if you really want to be good in these kind of things. All right, let's jump straight into Photoshop and let me show you how I created this artwork. Usually first thing that I always do is to extract the models out of the background. So for that I use Subject Select tool to roughly select the models, and then I use the brush tool and manually refine all those edges. This process, at least for me, it's pretty tedious and boring, but it needs to be done. So after I finish with that, I position the subjects where they need to be on the background and clean up the layers a little bit, group everything in separate groups, because I like to have it like that. Then I wanted to clean up some highlights from the floor down below, but the process I used first, I didn't like it, it's a little bit messy. And then I decided to use the tool that is not so often used in Photoshop. It's a vanishing point tool, and it's an amazing, powerful tool. So I use it to be able to clone in the perspective. So I clone parts of the concrete bricks in the perspective, and I have full tutorial about vanishing point tool. So if you want, you can check it out. And as you can see, it's really amazing tool to clone some parts and to remove some highlights without any issues. So I have 2 attempts here, because first attempt I didn't like the result, but this one was pretty good. Then I wanted to brighten up her pants a little bit because they are too dark, and for that I use camera filter because I had a raw photo. I made a copy of my original photo and just brighten the pants in a camera, and then use layer mask to mask out the rest of the body, and that's it. Really simple and easy process. Then I decided to bring few more guys into the photo, and those are these 3 cute robots right here. They're flying and holding the Cupid bow, and they want obviously to hit the model with the Cupid arrow. And this is a special one that is sitting on her shoulder, and I will change him later into a gold robot because that will make him even more special. If you remember, if you're following my channel and remember my previous episodes, you know that I already used those small guys, and I will probably use them even in some future photo manipulations. Last time I used them, it's in a previous episode. They're my helpers in my workshop, so if you didn't saw that, go back and check that out. Here I'm just adding a simple glow on the top of the antenna, on that light bulb, and also the part of her ear. I will maybe do that later even more. I will tweak that a little bit more. And now it's time to add some jet boots on these guys to justify that they're actually, why are they actually in the air? They're flying, they have some kind of jet boots, and for that, like I did in previous episode, I'm just using 3 colors, white, yellow and red, and just painting that and adding glow over the top of everything. If you don't know how to add a glow, that's really simple. I have so many tutorials on that. Also, I have playlists dedicated to a glow, so you can check that out too. Also, I decided to make some lights, to put some lights in the eye holes, so to make them even more interesting and more alive, and this is how it looks. And I did that basically for all the robots in the scenes. I will do that for this small robot and also to the one that is standing beside myself in the background. Here I decided to add a little bit of the glow on the bow, arrow, strings and the heart to make that even more magical, like it's a super magical Cupid bow. But at the end, this looks like a cartoonish bow and it's not a good fit for this photo, so I removed the glow later, you will see that, and left only the arrow glowing. Here I'm just adding a light on the eyes of that small robot. Here, as you can see, I'm just painting a shadow that I'm casting on the bench and on the floor. For that I just use a regular empty layer in a multiply blending mode and paint that. Also for the model and for the robot I did the same thing. Then I decided to add a little bit of the noise to all the 3D elements because they don't have any amount of noise and all other elements on the photo has certain amount of noise. So for that I use just regular layer, 50% gray, and add a noise on that from the noise filter and put that layer into a soft light blending mode, simple like that. Also then I decided to add a little bit more of the glow and light beam from the lights of that big guy, big robot, and also that light will cast some light on the model's face and it will be a little bit warmer because the light is warmer, and I'm just playing with these things. When I finished with the light beam, I decided to add a little bit more details inside to add some kind of a dust particles, and for that I used custom made dust particle brush, and I already have a tutorial how to create that, so you can check that out too. And that's done just to add a little bit more details in the scene, nothing special. Here I decided to add a heart shape in the middle of his light, like the symbol of he's falling in love in that girl right there, and for that I just use a heart shape symbol from the shape tool, blurred it a little bit, also position it inside there, and that's it. Also here I wanted to add a shadow from myself, and instead of painting shadow with the color I just cloned parts of the ground and used that as a shadow, and over the top of that I add even more shadow from myself. After painting a little bit more light on myself, I use the lens blur filter to add a little bit blur on myself to match the blur with the blur of the bench. Also I did the same thing with the robot because we two of us are a little bit further away from the camera and we are slightly out of the focus, so I want to match these things too. Here I render out a new bow and arrow because I wanted a little bit longer arrow, and now I needed to draw another jet engines on that small robot, and to add even more glow, etc., and to add a little bit glow on the arrow that I mentioned at the beginning, that I will remove the glow from the bow and just put it on the arrow and the heart, and this is it. Also, I decided to change the color of the jet engines from the red to a bluish tone because everything is there yellow and red, and I just want these things to be a little bit different colored. Then I use Boris FX Optics plugin to create light rays from the sun. It's an amazing plugin, it has tons of features, and this time I use this as not as a final result. You can use it as a final result, obviously, as you can see right here, but I use it as a guide for my own custom-made light rays because I want to make just few of them, and this is just a simple white lines that I created over the top of the Boris FX Optics light rays. If you want to try that plugin for free, you can go and check out the link down there in the description. Also, you can use my coupon code to get 50% off the price. It's an amazing plugin. I have full review of that. You can also check that out. So here, as you can see, I just played with a few details to put some elements in the front of sun rays, some elements behind the sun rays, and this is how I did it, by using layer mask and just paint over the top with the black color on something that I don't want to be behind the sun rays. After I finished with the light rays, I wanted to create some kind of luminosity depth. So that means that everything that is further away from the camera will be less contrasty, brighter, and less saturated, and everything that is closer to the camera will have more contrast, darker, and it will be a little bit more saturated. So here I play with the background and with separate elements of these models and robots, and also later you will see I will add a few more elements in the front plan, some bushes and treetops, just to create even more depth. Here, as you can see, I'm just playing with the global, dodging and burning, adding some lights and some shadows on certain elements, certain parts of the photo, on the subjects, just to add even more depth in the scene. Here I'm just adding effect of the top of the antenna of the remote control is actually glowing, and some kind of radio waves are beaming out from them. Just little touch, nothing special, it's barely visible, but I just want to add that kind of effect. I also added a few butterflies on these flowers that the robot is holding, just as additional details there. Also added some treetops at the top left and right corner just to add even more depth to the scene, and of course make them a little bit darker and out of the focus. I blur them a little bit. And now it's time for that small golden robot. I replaced the silver one with the golden one and just tweaks few details here and there, and this is it. I think this one it's even cuter and much better fit there. Then I decided to add some kind of sparkles at the top of this guy right here because he's so struggling to pull that arrow, and he's almost burning his circuits. So this is just as additional detail there. Also, a little bit of the smoke there is really cool detail. Then I decided to add even more scratches to the robot. After all those tweakings, I did a final color grading, and this is how the final photo looks. Right guys, so that's it for today. I really hope that you like this photo manipulation, that you got inspired from this video to create something completely on your own, maybe similar idea, maybe something completely different. And also I'm really happy if you got inspired from this video to learn some new things, some new skills, to develop something like maybe 3D skills or whatever. If you want to learn 3D, there are plenty of tutorials on YouTube. This is how I learned the 3D, and I'm not even scratched the surface there. I'm not so good in 3D, I'm still learning, so this is why I don't want to make 3D Cinema 4D tutorials for you guys. I know that a lot of you guys asking for that, but I'm not confident in that yet to be able to give you guys these kind of tutorials. So go out there, search on YouTube, whatever you need. There are crazy amount of content there. If you like this video, please press the like button down below. I will appreciate that, and also subscribe if you didn't already, because there will be more and more cool videos every single week. And just practice, experiment, have fun, and see you next week. Bye bye.